Every means has been tried to make terrorists amenable to the law, but the terrorist campaign continues, and I have had to conclude that the ordinary law cannot deal comprehensively or quickly enough with such ruthless viciousness.
On Monday, the 9th of August, 1971, at 4:30 a.m., Irish men from all over the 6 counties were taken from their homes. Hundreds of these men were then imprisoned without trial in Longcache concentration camp. This is a song born of the civil resistance campaign which followed internment. A song dedicated to those men in Longcache. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, where every man will stand behind the men behind the wire. Through the little streets of Belfast in the dark of early morn, British soldiers came marauding, wrecking little homes with scorn. Heedless of the crying children, dragging fathers from their beds, beating sons while helpless mothers watched the blood pour from their heads.
The 19th of September, the house was raided by police and army, so they arrested me under some special powers acts. I was then taken out and stood at the door. They done the house up and wrecked the house, and then I was taken to Cookstown. Then the whole lot of us was taken on in the lorry away till Hollywood, but we didn't know nothing what it was or anything else. Taken in and searched and everything taken off us and put into cubicles. So then we're in there for maybe an hour. So they took us out and they put us in to clean a floor. This floor was black as anything, so we had to go down on our knees and clean this floor. So when we had the floor half cleaned or halfway through, they'd come, these boys, and they would pick some one of us and take us away. So I was taken away down to this cubicle, stood up against the wall, my fingertips to the wall, and my legs stretched out, and a soldier right behind each leg. And if I moved, they kicked my legs away. So then my head would come down and hit the radiator. So that was all right. They kept that going for about maybe half an hour. So the next thing it was, they took me off to the room. So I went down to the room, and in this room was about 5 special branch men. So they told me to sit down in a chair. So I sat on the chair, and before I knew where I was, there was one special branch officer behind me, and he just threw his 2 hands on my ears, bang, 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 on my ears. And he says, by my name, called my name out. He says, "You're going to talk before you leave this place." And I said, "Nothing." And he says, "You better now talk now. If you talk now, nothing will happen to you. But if you don't talk, you'll know what's going to happen." So then I just sat there. I said nothing. And the next thing, they kicked the chair from under me, and down I went. So I got up again and sat on the chair. So they started to question again. So I said nothing. I said I didn't know nothing. So after a while, they banged my ears again, said they weren't finished, took me out again, took me up to the wee cubicle again where the heaters was, put me back into that again, and the same thing happened again. Put hands out to the wall, legs back, and the feet kicked from under you, and down you went. So it came to night, and they came in and told me that I was far off, I was going to be in the helicopter. I was to dig a hole, and they were to drop me out of the helicopter in the hole. And this was the arrangements was all made. They came rushing in and said that there was a change in plans, as Father Falls had arrived at the gate and demanded their release. So after that, kept all night and on their knees on the floors, and the next morning, so we were taken off to Crumlin Jail. So I went into the doctor and looked at me and he asked me what happened. And I said that I was in Hollywood and that's what they'd done to me. And he said, that's awful. He says, that's desperate. So he examined me, and next thing I was put in the cell. And then all night in the cell, there was boys coming to the cell door and shouting through the hole, and you never could sleep, and you were waking all night like. Outside and all, and you were just, you were just completely isolated from everybody, and nobody really would understand it, like, what you were going through, but all you got was a bit of a walk round outside 3 or 4 times a day. That's all you could do. So then outsiders was looking handkerchiefs and that done from PDF. So we decided we'd start that to help us, like, So we started that, and we done a good one. It lasted a good while, and we done a lot of stuff and sent it out for them. But it kept us going, like. But then later on, there was a couple of raids, and I tell you, they weren't nice. They were very nasty, and they would be around the huts and they'd smash the huts. Once they got you out, you went in, and the hut was like a fire. Oh, it was awful. Then there came a ceasefire. But I think 3 months after we were sent to Luncash, and they came and were all moved out of them huts away up to Cage 9. And it was supposed to be that was release. So what happened was there was something happened in Portadown, I think it was, and there was a good lot away. Nearly all my mates was away, and I think nearly all the Tyrone ones was away. There might have been a couple of us left, but I didn't know where they were or where I was, and I was stuck in amongst all other new mates. Well, I had one visit. Mary was always visiting every week. She came down every week. She had been harassed too outside before she came in. People were sending her stuff, and I told her not to take it because I wasn't getting it, and they wouldn't allow it. And on one occasion, she took in a roast of meat. It was cut through the middle, and spittles in it. Got to the stage that I have nearly spent the most of my time at the woodwork, because I just didn't know what to do, like, to pass the time. And all you could do is walk around. You had nothing else to do. You couldn't do nothing. You were just stuck in the old huts. And the thing was a parade every Sunday out in every cage had a parade every Sunday. The mass every Sunday in life for the whole time we were there. I have to say it wasn't really well attended. I definitely never missed it, nor none of our local lads. There was a television in the television. It would be knocked off once the electric would knock off everything. Yes, you were down for the night, and 3 times I was trying to get for it to be released, and each time wrong name. It's no man, the wrong name, and I would have to be taken back again. I said to myself, the next time it happens, I'll not go. But the next time it happened, one of my mates, oh, I'm telling you now, you're going. And then he made me go to the gate, and I went to the gate, the same thing happened again. And I, boys. Time there was one bad raid now, and we're all taken out and taken into the toilets outside and searched in the hands bit of us. And they said they were looking for something. It was only an excuse, and they took us out and bit the hands of us and actually and searched up our backsides too, like as well. And and I thought that was going to be a bad night in the hut, but thankfully, there was ones in it that I had a bit of experience and said, lads, stop. Just that's far enough. That's maybe what I want you to do, that for to come back in again. So cool heads and just stopped the whole thing, and that was. But the raids was awful. Like, and some of the raids was awful, And yet, like, if you look back on it, like, the huts. God bless us. And they were awful. Simply awful.
To refute the suggestion that internment has been successful, one has only to consider the grim statistics of the past 3 days. 23 innocent people have been murdered by the army. 1,282 people have been forced to flee from their homes, to which they cannot and never will return. 286 houses, including whole streets, have been burnt to the ground.
Well, I walked through the gate and there was a cameraman met me, and he wanted to do an interview, but I wasn't just feeling up for an interview, but I just happened, I had to say something, like, and I think I said, like, I feel very sad, and because I had to leave so many men behind me, like, Went into Dungan, I had to get my hair cut. You'll see in that photo, I had to get my hair cut. And I went to Leo McManaman, that's always who I went to get my hair cut. And I handed them I handed them 2 and 6, I think, for to get my hair cut, not realising the money had changed. The money had changed from when I was in.